Why, hello there. I'm sure you're wondering who I am. And well, I'll tell you. See, my name's Justin Muretisch, and I'm a member of the Slippery Rock Symphony Orchestra. And you're on a show called Just in Time for Music. See, on this show, we're going to be interviewing several orchestra members and band members that combine together to make up our symphony orchestra as a way to help rebuild after COVID and shine some light on what we do here at the music department in SRU. And I'll have a guest on each episode. That way we can talk a little bit about their past career, things that they've done up here at Slippery Rock, and maybe they'll even give you a taste of their instrumental talent as well. So put your hands together for our first guest, Pierce Lokar.
Whoa, guys! You guys know that's unlocked? I just leave the door unlocked for anyone to walk in. I just walked in just like that. No repercussions.
Hey, you're in the right place, and you are just in time, my friend.
Just in time for music.
Yes. Now, for those that don't know, Pierce is our concert master, and he's the president of the whole orchestra club. I myself am the secretary, but I still seem to be learning a lot from him day in and day out in rehearsals and everything. So, how's your day going?
It's going good. Apart from us trying to frantically figure out how to work all these microphones and us only being able to use one. Great.
Yeah.
I got coffee. It's free coffee day at Dunkin'.
It was free coffee day, and it was quite good.
Mm.
But yes, as you can see, one mic for now, but as episodes go, we're going to build up and have better equipment and make the shows even better as we go on. So, obviously, you play the violin, as mentioned before. How long have you been playing?
I've been playing since my fourth grade year. So what is that? That was a long time. Probably 11 years now. Maybe 12. I don't know.
Yeah, I want to say I'm on my 11th year, but I started my third grade year because my class was the last class to actually do that before they changed it to fourth grade, which is what it is now.
See, I think most people pick up instruments because they got the band petting zoo, and stuff in fourth grade, and whenever I started in fourth grade, it was kind of torn because my mom wanted me to do French horn because for those of you who can't see, the person recording it right now is a French horn player, and she just gave me the whoop whoop. But my mom told me to play French horn because she's like, Pierce, you play French horn, you're gonna get all the babes, right? and see, hindsight is 2020. I still don't think I would have gotten the babes of French horn, but I think I would have had better luck at violin. And so I go in and I try to play clarinet is what the band teacher put me on first for the instrument petting zoo. And I couldn't make a sound. And so being the fourth grader I cried, right? And then the orchestra director put her arm around me, and this kind of really shows how I was motivated in fourth grade. But she's like, Pierce, you should play the violin. You'll get all the babes, right? And so my entire music journey is brought on by the slight opportunity that it might give me babes. I should have chosen a saxophone or guitar. But no, I'm playing violin, and I'm having a good time doing it. But
orchestra's where it's at, my friend. So, what is your major now that you're here, and what year of school are you in?
So I'm a sophomore here at Slippery Rock, and my major is music performance with violin, and then music education. But I do a lot of chamber stuff around campus, like chamber music, and so I think I'm going to add a chamber minor, just because I'm putting in the work and I'm not getting anything for it, so I might as well add the minor for a little bit extra.
So what exactly goes into a chamber minor? I didn't even know that was a thing. Now granted, I'm a freshman, but still.
So the chamber minor, I think the only requisites is that you have to take part in a chamber group. So that would be jazz combo or the chamber strings or there's also there's another chamber group. I think it's just another jazz chamber group, but stuff like that,
Very interesting.
1 second, we got a notice from up above.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay. So oh my gosh, there's tons of them. So there's a jazz combo, saxophone quartet, chamber singers. Wow, look at all this good stuff. Jazz ensemble. You have a paper screen protector. That's awful. feels like I'm scrolling on sandpaper. Chamber string ensemble, brass ensemble, perk ensemble, percussion ensemble, flute choir, tuba euphonium ensemble. That one's fun. Jazz lab band, world percussion ensemble. That one's also fun. Winter guard. I don't know how that's a chamber ensemble, but I guess it is. And yeah, there's opera performance, chamber music performance. Okay, instrumental performance. Yeah, so I guess there's a few of them that I didn't know about. Here, take your monstrosity back.
Yeah.
A paper screen protector.
Feel free to look more into that in our course catalog on the SRU website if you want to look into chamber minors or any sort of music majors and minors as well.
Yeah, be music major. It's really fun. It's a lot of work. I mean, I'm in 15 classes my sophomore year. I was told by alumni that this is like the year that's like the hardest because next, coming up is going to be like field, where it's like, you go out and you teach a class, like in the wild, like, student teaching. Right now, I'm teaching the 4-year-olds with like their early elementary music program we have on Slippery Rock, and that's been fun. Trying to interact and learn how to talk to little people. I'm not great at it yet because I still try to talk to them with big boy words, but I'll get there.
See, I've had some practice because my mom works in a preschool, so anytime I'm home or if it's like bring your child to work day, I end up going with her. But she teaches or helps teach 2-year-olds now as a teacher's aide. But I've had a lot of experience with like the 2 to 4-year-old range. So it's like the younger kids really like me because I can get on their level, but I'm still trying to learn like how to be at any sort of level, no matter like what kind of classroom I'm in.
Yeah. I'm torn because like I'm music ed and music performance, right? And so like I don't know which way I'm going. I could do both. I could open up a private studio and give like private lessons. I mean, I give lessons now for like a side job, like a little hustle. But I could open up a studio and do that, or I could be like public education with my degree and do like gigs on the side, But let me tell you a little bit something about kids that happened to me the other day. I won't name the kid because the kid was 4 years old and didn't know any better. But my first day working with the kids, we were doing some sort of activity where it was like a song, and they wanted to sign their name on the drawing that was the song. It was like Aiken drum, right? It was a drum beat. It was immersive learning. Dr. Eisenreich here is really good with the kids and teaching them very effectively. And so we were going, and like as soon as kids started wanting to sign their names, one kid came up to me and was like, "Hey, like, what's my name?" And I was like, "Well," and he was like, "How do you spell it?" Let's call him Sam. I was like, SAM. And this other kid came up to me. Let's call him like Ryan, right? Okay. Let's call him Ryan. Right. And he was like, "What's my name?" And I was like, "Ryan." And he's like, and I was like, "Do you know how to spell that?" He looked at me. He was like. Right in my face. He just coughed right in my face. Like, no warning. And then he didn't even come back for, like, the rest to figure out how to spell his name. He coughed in my face. He made his deposit, and he left. And, like, oh, my gosh. Afterwards, I went to, like, the bathroom after class, and I, like, scrubbed my whole body down. It's a bittersweet relationship with these kids right now, but I have a feeling.
I guess you got to plan for everything if you want to be a teacher, because you never know what could happen.
I'll never know what grade I teach if I do go into public school. I'm hoping to teach orchestra, because I feel like I'll fail band kids miserably as their teacher, but we'll never know. As I go through, I'll learn more and more. But.
All right, then. Now, I guess we should move into the deep center of why you guys are here to learn more about his music career and why he plays music up at SRU. So, obviously, we do have lives, but granted, music takes up most of our time. What sort of hobbies and interests do you have outside of music?
So outside of music, I mean, I listen to a lot of music outside of music, but I like video games. That's kind of how I stay in touch with my high school friends now. I mean, I play a lot of single player kind of like RPG games. Like there's a new game that just came out I wanted to try. It's called Lies of P, and it's like Pinocchio, kind of like Souls-like game. For those of you who might play Dark Souls, it's kind of like that. You probably heard of it, but I play some video games, some multiplayer games with my friends, like Rainbow Six Siege, first-person shooters. I wish I could say I read more, but I have a hard time sometimes getting there. I'll listen to a couple audiobooks, but my favorite author that I keep coming back to is Rick Riordan, right?
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
Greek, Roman, Egyptian mythology, and granted, I came into it from Rick Riordan, and so like I would go to people with like, actually the sun god's name is Ra, I was a little twerp, but
Honestly, I was the
then-
same way.
and then once we got to like ninth grade, like, and we read like Homer, the Iliad, and the Odyssey and stuff like that. I learned the actual true like things. Like it wasn't like the fantasized. Well, they're all fantasized, but like the caricatured version of like the mythology that Rick Riordan tells. It just fueled my flame even more. I'm currently on because he recently started doing Norse mythology. I say recent; they've been out for a while, but I'm not caught up. So like the Magnus Chase series, I think I'm on the second book, or maybe like haven't finished the 1st book. I have a bookmark in one of them, and they're on my shelf because I always think I'm going to open them up one weekend, and then my 15 classes come first, and so. But yeah, like reading, I watch YouTube and Netflix. I like watching cartoons. I'm an anime fan. I watch anime. And like I'm trying to keep up with the Attack on Titan. They're releasing the finale. I think actually this month, or maybe it was last month. I got to double check on that. But yeah,
Nice.
Video games, reading. Try to go around.
Yeah. If you guys have a favorite video game or like a TV show that you guys watch, comment down below. Now, as for books, honestly, Rick Riordan is pretty solid. I also like J.K. Rowling because I spent a lot of my time in my younger years reading like the Harry Potters, the Percy Jacksons, the Heroes of Olympus, the Magnus Chase series. Like I've read all those like cover to cover multiple times, and I still can come back to them like just because there will be that one off chance where like my knowledge will just escape from me, and it'll be like, oh crap, I gotta reread this and see like, wait, are you sure this is what happened? Yeah, that's what happened.
But let me see. What was his Egyptian mythology called?
It was like the Kane Chronicles.
Kane Chronicles.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that because like the Kane Chronicles was written in because it wasn't his story, it was another story, or maybe it was from a musical, but it was written in the style of a play. And J.K. Rowling, her new book, like not new again, I haven't caught up, so it's new to me. But The Cursed Child, the new the one after the classic Harry Potter franchise. I think they wrote a movie on it already. I don't know. Again, caught up, but it's also written in like a play format, and I thought that would be really interesting because it brought me back to whenever I was in like middle school and read like the Kane Chronicles for the first time. And I was like, wow, that's really cool, and I didn't know, But and then there's like away from books, other stuff like there's stuff to do on campus. Like I go, oh yeah, sorry, we're getting a television prompter. Yes. Yeah, there's some drama between J.K. Rowling. So
Yes.
Enough about we like J.K. Rowling for the Harry Potter, but regardless of their actions. But another thing, more stuff to do on campus is like I go to the Arc. I've been trying to go to the Arc and like lift weights. I've been doing pretty good. I've gone every day. Like I've been trying to go 6 days a week, but it's usually 5. Like 5 days a week. And I go and I work out and I try to that's kind of how I de-stress because like you're stuck at Smoke Music Building from 8 a.m. Some people are here until like 7:30, 8. Some people are stuck here until 9:30, and that's a long day to be sitting here, breathing in the same air and the same germs that everyone else is having. Yeah. And so I go to the Arc and usually like 7:30 to 8:30, I'm at the Arc and try to lift weights and, lose that freshman 15 and then the sophomore 25 and then I'm sure next year will be like the junior 35. So
maybe. Yeah. Honestly, I need to get myself in a system with the art because like I hear what you're saying about how it's like exhausting being here like day in and day out, but I don't know, like not being a music major, I feel like it's giving me a lot more time, but at the same time it's a lot more walking, so I feel like I'm still getting like some exercise.
Yeah.
But it's not like I'm running every day because I used to be like a cross country person, and it's not like I'm like lifting weights like every other day too. So like I do feel myself slipping a bit, so I got to get back on that wagon a little.
Yeah.
All right. So obviously when we started, you started talking about like how you got involved with music. Could you go a little more into detail about like how you got involved and why you ended up choosing the violin as opposed to like the viola or the cello or the bass.
For the babes, dude. That's what they said. No.
Yeah.
So I thought the violin was really cool. My Ram, she passed away like 7, 8 years ago now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, that's all right. And so whenever I was a little kid, she had an ornamental violin on her coffee table. My grandma was definitely the person who like had all white furniture, and like if you like put your feet on the couch with or without socks, she would like cut them off. You know what I mean? like she had white throw pillows. Like she was very much like she would vacuum the carpet after the cat walked through. Like she was a very clean person, and so she had this violin kind of like just like on there, looks like this, and it had like a little ornamental cranberry leaf underneath the chin rest, and this is the chin rest for those of you who don't know. But and it was sitting on the coffee table, and it had gut strings, right? And gut strings, this is how old the violin was. Gut strings, for those of you who don't know, before strings were made of you can't hear that, but before strings were made of metal and woven metal, they were woven from dried like animal guts. All right,
Dang.
like less like as non-graphic as I can put it.
Yeah.
And the violin had gut strings on it, and I had no I was like I didn't know, and so I would always mess with it on the coffee table, and she'd yell at me. And around the same time that they were doing the instrument petting zoo and going about, and we were all choosing what we wanted to play for the next however long. She finally said, she's like, Pierce, if you like play violin and like stick with it, whenever I pass away, like I will you, like you'll get this violin. And so like how old was I in fourth grade? Like 8, 9-year-old Pierce was like, okay, cool, I'll finally get like the violin. And like maybe I stuck with it, and like I would practice, and she like pay for my lessons because my parents couldn't do it, and so she would pay for my lessons, and my pap would drive me to the lessons, and I would practice super hard because it was like that infatuation. Maybe and maybe like 8 years ago, my grand passed away 7, 8 years ago, and like they were doing like the will reading, and a lot of my family wanted to keep like this violin and sell it, because it's not worth a ton of stuff. I think it's a German Stradivarius copy, right?
Oh yeah.
And so like it's dime a dozen, but like to me it wasn't dime a dozen, and so a lot of people in my family wanted to sell it, and like it was one of the things I got in the will was like this violin, and she remembered. And so now I have this ornamental violin. It's still sitting in my grand's house because I don't live anywhere where I think it'd be safe enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want to get like a case for it, but where am I going to put that in my dorm? What if it's weird? It doesn't fit the slippery rock aesthetic.
Yeah. I think for a later episode, we either need to get pictures of this violin, or you should bring it in just to show our audience and our viewers back home, just so that they know what the old-timey gut string violin would look like.
I'll send pictures. I have to go, whenever I go back. It's actually my birthday this week.
Ooh.
So I'm going to go and see my family. So maybe I can stop by my pap's house. He lives in Lower Burrell. So it's like maybe like an hour and a half.
That's like close to where I live.
Yeah. So I'll grab pictures. It's really pretty. I mean, the case is like leather, but like it's been dry rotted sitting under a bed ever since she passed away.
Jeez.
And so even before she passed away, it was under her bed, because she had that violent out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, it's all falling apart. Like the rosin, the bow's crappy. No, I mean the violin's like I'm still waiting to see if I want to have it restored or leave it the way it is.
You probably could get it restored.
I could get it restored, but the way it has a crack and it's separating in the body.
Oh, jeez.
Right in this area, and so and then it has a crack in one of the F holes, I think, up that way. But everything like is fine. Like the pegs are fine. There's like nothing wrong with them. I mean, it's dusty. That's about it.
Yeah. You guys will have to wait and see once the video's out if we get pictures and put them up.
Man,
we'll have to.
Duncan.
Hopefully, we'll have our media team put pictures in of the gut string violin. All right, so you got involved with music. You played for like 10 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
Did you play with any groups outside of school?
Yeah, so I did a lot outside of school, especially as I was getting ready to audition because, believe it or not, this was not my first pick of college. I enjoy slippery rock.
Yeah.
But I thought I was going to go the conservatory route.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still probably in the cards for graduate school, depending on which path I choose in terms of education or performance, which way I go. But sorry, what was the question?
So,
did I do anything outside of high school? Shut up.
outside of school,
Yeah, I did a couple things outside of high school. I'm talking. Anyway.
I know.
Anyway, so I did an outside chamber group because my oral orchestra teacher retired, and I got an invitation maybe 7 months after she left to go participate in her chamber ensemble in, I think it's around Valencia, PA, and so it was a drive, and I performed like I mean, I don't even think I made it to the concert, but like, I practiced with them a couple times with a couple buddies that were also in it. It was such a drive, and I was young, so I didn't have a car. And so once they kind of got busy with being like older kids, they were seniors. So once they got busy, working and stuff, and weren't able to make it as much, I kind of had to fall out of it. But
Jeez.
I did that. Groups, not a whole ton. We did. There was a Strings North, but it was part of the school. We would go around and like gig for like nursing homes and children's hospitals. But I have done a lot of gigs outside. Like I live in the Saxonburg Cabot area. And so, there was a tea place. Maybe they should sponsor us. They probably won't because they'll never hear this podcast. But, the, Serendipity was what it's called. I played for their grand opening and, I did that. That was fun. And then I've done a couple weddings. I do a lot of weddings. That's my big money maker for violin. So because everybody wants like, from every wedding I've done Elvis Presley's "Can't Falling in Love with You," like
that's amazing.
90% of the time. Yeah, so we got a French horn player behind the camera.
Yeah.
Megan Oswald also, Everyone, it's not original, women. Like, ladies, pick something else. It isn't original. I've played this so many times. You're not the only bride walking down the aisle to Elvis Presley, all right? And so, is that too harsh? Maybe.
I don't know.
Dr. Dung will hear this afterward and she'll cancel me. But,
Well, let's hope not, though.
yeah, so, but yeah, Falling in Love with You. I've done a lot of Greatest Showman after that movie came out. Rewrite the Stars was popular. I did a weird violin duet for it was the Yuruma Flows in You.
Interesting.
Yeah, or the Yuruma, I think it is. River Flows in You. With a pianist and a guitar and me, like a violinist.
Wow.
Yeah, it was real weird. And then I had another, like in my home church in Trentham. Sorry, I looked that way. I did a a salsa cover of "Mary Did You Know." It was like samba. I'm sorry, I'm way off topic. It was a samba "Mary Did You Know" cover, and some lady. Some lady fell during the samba because she was dancing. And they called an ambulance, and we had to keep playing during the whole thing. Like the Titanic, whenever the band stayed on to like calm everyone down. That was me and this poor organist playing the samba version of like "Mary Did You Know," and like the "Mary Did You Know" cover was like 8 minutes long, and so we repeated it twice, like while this poor lady was like getting checked out by the EMS. Yeah. Anyway. I played an outside outside group.
Yeah. We're definitely gonna have to get you back to talk more about outside of here, like all the playing you've done.
Sometimes stuff happens at gigs that's just so out of pocket and weird. But yeah.
See, you start out with what happens at gigs stays at the gigs, but then when you're around musical friends, it just happens to come right back out.
Yeah.
See, in my outside of school kind of ways, like I was in this group called Opus 2 for like a long time, and after COVID, funny I say this, I helped rebuild with a couple friends. So we went to every surrounding school district's website and we got the music director's websites, emails, and then we sent them all these emails saying like, hey, we need some more people, send us your best. And surprisingly, we've done this for like 3 or 4 years now. We've brought in quite a lot of people. But of course, we also went around our home like district and we talked to all sorts of people and went to all sorts of concerts and stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure my network is still up and running back home, and I've got people that are working to grow the orchestra now that I'm gone. But like, I've done a couple gigs too. Like, my junior high director exposed us to like getting out and playing music for people because we played at our local Chick-fil-A a couple times, like during like the Christmas season, and we played like a whole bunch of Christmas music. And the best part was we got paid in free chicken. But yeah, it's definitely been a lot of fun. But I'd say maybe my weirdest thing I've done that actually turned out really cool was it was me and actually no, I have two. So I played The Devil Went Down to Georgia purely as a bet with one of my friends, like back in like 7th grade. I spent like 2-3 years learning the song. And then I thought like, oh, I learned it. It's done. Nothing to do. But this past year, I met a bunch of people and started just like playing the song for fun. And they were like, dude, we learned the rest of the parts. We got to get a whole squad together. And we're doing it just the way the Charlie Daniels Band recorded it. And what's funny is it actually turned out really good, even though we had a really bad tech rehearsal.
Great. I mean, the one thing that like I figured out as soon as I came here as a strings major, like I was one of 3 and I was the only violinist major, you know? And like the first question they're like, do you know Devil Went Down to Georgia? And I was like, no. And then they just discredited me as a violinist. It's like as soon as like the other people like found out, they're like, oh, you don't know Devil Went Down to Georgia? You even play the violin, you know? And so obviously I had to learn it for here. And then I did that at the benefit concert. But yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, maybe we'll have to try and do a duet sometime.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it would be really cool. But yeah, and then the other like outside of school, like crazy thing I've probably done was, so for my senior like piece at Opus, the group I mentioned a little bit ago, I did the Marvel Fanfare right into Back in Black. Like we were fresh out of Iron Man 1. And what's funny is on that solo part that's like the main guitarist, it was me on an electric violin and the rest of the orchestra was backing me up, and it turned out so good. And we even had one of my good buddies on an electric drum set. So
how does that work, electric drum set?
Basically, honestly, I don't know, but I think it's like the drums are plugged into an amplifier. But if you ever played like Rock Band or like Guitar Hero, that sort of game.
No, but my older brother played a lot of Guitar Hero.
So on Rock Band, the drum set is just 4 pads of like correlating colors.
Okay.
But on an electric,
like a silent drum kit.
It's like a silent drum kit. But there were like 12 or 14 different like drums that you could hit. Now I looked at it and I was like, I have no idea what this is. And I just looked at my friend and I was like, dude, you know what you're doing. Have fun. But it turned out so good. And I'm like so proud of it to this day. Like I still watch the concert videos from Back in Black and from The Devil Went Down to Georgia just because like it was so much fun. And like I'm trying to find a way to level it up here just to like see if I can do something even crazier at the college level.
You should. I mean, there's a benefit concert coming up. You guys should, everyone watching the podcast should totally come to the benefit concert this Thursday. Yes. You know, because it'll definitely be out. This episode will definitely be out before this Thursday because we have such a go-getting marketing team that they're just going to edit this in 2 hours.
Oh yeah.
So, and then we'll have it out and ready, and then it'll go viral because we're such an amazing organization, right, Megan?
Our teleprompter's just looking at us like, what the heck are you guys doing?
No. She doesn't. Have faith, Megan. You got it.
Let's be honest, though. Episodes are going to be out on Fridays. We're not sure what time yet, but they'll be out, and it'll be right on our YouTube channel. So, our next question. So, we covered your outside of school stuff. So, now let's dive into like more of your, I guess we could say your greatest moments.
My greatest moments?
What is your greatest musical career moment? It could be a song. It could be like a festival you went to, like a PMEA type thing. Another memory or like something with like a conductor you've had over the years. Like, what is the best thing that stands out to you about your music career?
You know what? You know how like, I feel like it's hard to see your greatest moments because like, you know, like bodybuilders, like they say like models and bodybuilders have the worst body dysmorphia. Yeah. You know? I feel like being there's a point in every musician's life whenever music goes from being fun and like happy-go-lucky to being like, okay, I'm gonna do this as a career. I gotta start taking this seriously. All right, so technical difficulties. Anyway, so where were we? We were bodybuilders.
Yes.
All right, so you know how like bodybuilders, they have like bodybuilders and models have like the worst body dysmorphia. You know what I mean? And so like I feel like whenever you are like a musician, like you're learning music for the first time, and your kid is like real relaxed, and you know you're just like having fun playing for your like winter concert, whatever. And then like there gets a point, I think, in every musician's life whenever you like realize that you might want to do this like as a career. And then as soon as that happens, like music is no longer that same thing. It's something different. Music changes.
Yeah.
You know, it is like, you know, it's something that you take a lot more seriously, and it makes it sometimes whenever you start taking it seriously, it's hard to find that same joy in it, you know?
Yeah.
Like I'm still, I consider myself very lucky to be still inspired by music. You know, there was a point in time whenever I was thinking about quitting music, and that can be a whole story on its own. But like I'm still here involved in music, and it is because you know, it's something that I think I was kind of like, you know, it's all I've ever done, you know.
Yeah.
But in terms of like my proudest moment, I think, you know, it's hard for me to analyze. It's hard for me to look back and like be happy with something, you know, like you look back in your own recordings, and it's always a little bit awkward, right? It's always a little bit awkward to like hear a recording of yourself playing, or like I'll send recordings to my professor to like, for her to like gauge where I'm at before my lesson. Like, and that's another thing, like going and like taking lessons in 4th grade, like with my teacher who was going to teach me Frere Jacques and like This Old Man. It was something a lot different than going, like I practice for my lessons, right? I practice for my lessons to do good in my lessons, to then impress my teacher, to then do good for my performance hour, you know, in the, you know, and so it's something different. But in terms of my, like my biggest like moment, like the moment I'm most proud of, I want to say it's a performance that I didn't even like myself, you know, and I played Hallelujah. Leonard Cohen, you know, the Hallelujah from Shrek.
Yes.
And I played that, and it was I was so nervous because I just kept watching the pentatonics, like Hallelujah over and over again, and like a lot of my little riffs, and you know, like I have a lot of what's the callback towards it? There's a word I want to use that I can't find.
And to put it into context, that video is really good, and it sounds almost exactly like the real song. So I could see why you're drawn from there.
Yeah, and so like I walked up, and this was whenever it was like I was between teachers, right? And I stood up for my solo, and like I played my little heart out, like with this Hallelujah Leonard Cohen, and like you could have heard a pin drop in there, and I was so nervous because I thought that like I was doing bad because nobody was like talking, because usually high school, middle school concert, there's some chatter, like especially with the little kids, you know, but like it was dead silent in there. And whenever I was younger, like whenever I get excited, my face turns red. My face might be red now, I have no clue, but I get really red. And so my face was beet red. I've seen a recording of it. My face was beet red, and my knees used to shake real bad whenever I was nervous. And so I'm shaking like my knees. I'm still up top, but like my knees are like, you know, yeah. And so I played, and I got to the like last chord, right? And I like stopped playing, and I put my violin down, right? And nobody clapped.
Wow.
Nobody clapped for my solo. Like nobody said it. And then all of a sudden, like I sat down, and the whole hall like erupted.
Wow.
And it was my first standing ovation I've ever gotten. And like I cursed myself to this day. I was too afraid to look up, and so I never saw it. And it's kind of and so I never saw the standing ovation. I just saw like a couple of people in the first row because I was too afraid to look at the
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like breathing real heavy because I was so nervous, and because stage fright's real, it never goes away. You just learn how to deal with it, right? And so, yeah, I made some people in my orchestra cry. I mean, it was one of my most successful solos. But like, I look back, being the musician I am now, I'm like, why did I accent that note? That's awful. That like ruined that whole phrase. You know what I mean? And that's just how it is. But like, that was probably my like apex moment, as a musician in terms of like my growth, Yeah.
See, I've come to learn over the years that music is basically the thing that just never stops giving, because there's always more to learn. There's always that next song you want to play. There's always that next performance that you want to be ready for. Like, I've done so much cool stuff the last like 10, 11 years now, like playing violin. Like, I've played side by side with the Pittsburgh Symphony. I've played The Devil Went Down to Georgia with friends. I've played Back in Black with like a whole orchestra. But like, I always learn more. And even now, I'm still looking back on performances I've been in, like, in years past, just because, like, I'll pick up things like, oh, hey, this improved, or, oh, why did I do that there? Like, kind of like what you're saying. Like, music is something that always has a way of humbling you, and I love that to this day, I can still learn every time I pick up my instrument.
Yeah.
And, okay, so we've been through our greatest moments, or apex moments, as you would say, how we got into it. So now, I assume you and I have probably had a lot of teachers over the years. Yeah. What would you say is probably the best piece of advice that you've gotten from any teacher over the years? It can be from like a teacher in school or like a teacher in lessons.
Yeah. So, that's hard because like I've gone through so many teachers. I've had teachers that I've liked and teachers that I didn't like. Teachers that like we butted heads. I don't know. I feel like I know it's not true, but like I feel like I've gone through a lot of my music journey kind of solo. I've been to a lot. I've done a lot of concerts with no family or friends there.
Really?
Yeah. Like just like my personal life. Like I lived like basically by myself from 16 with my twin brother until graduated. Like I can't cook because my brother learned how to cook for us. You know what I mean? And so like, but like the best piece of advice, you're gonna have to give me a second because it
can even be advice from like your mom or dad if they're like musicians and they were like into how you play. Because I know my family's been heavily in music for years. Like going back to like my grandpa and my great grandpa, like they all played music. So like if I'm at home practicing, the biggest critique I have is when my mom just literally kicks down the door and is like, play this again, something didn't sound right.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom does that too, but like she knows nothing about music, and so like I was practicing for a conservatory audition. I was stressed out the wazoo. I was so like stressed. I was like mad at myself, you know. And like my mom would come in and be like, "What was that one note that was kind of screechy? Is that supposed to be like that?" I'm like, "Mom, it's a harmonic. It's supposed to be kind of whistly and ringy." You know. She's like, "I didn't like that," and I'm like, "Well, you're not Bach, so I don't know what you want me to tell you, Mom."
See, like, it's funny because I feel like our moms are probably the biggest critique. Mm-hmm. Like mine, she will sit on my bed in my room and just watch me play, and her favorite saying to always say, no matter what I'm practicing, is more vibrato. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because like I'm still like working on my vibrato to this day because I was never actually taught like a real way to do it. Like I picked it up just from watching like the first chairperson in my section in like 7th grade, just like moving the fingers. And I was like, oh, so this is how you do it.
Yeah.
And my playing like improved, but it's still not how it should be. And I'm learning like now, like in my lessons, like there's a lot of wrong stuff in my technique that I'm trying to work to fix. So now I feel like I'm like way behind where I should be.
Yeah, I mean, my lesson teacher is still like we have the same lesson teacher, Dr. Zhang here at Slippery Rock. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's epic. I'm still like she's still yelling to me about like stuff that I'm doing wrong, like mainly like bow stuff. Like you're supposed to play like right here on the instrument, for the best contact point, and sometimes my bow won't be straight, and I'm like that's something that should have been fixed in 7th grade. You know what I mean? And so she's still on my case about that some stuff, and you're always going over the basics. You never stop. But like advice that I've received, probably like my uncle always told me, like, my uncle's a dentist and he hates it. He makes money. He makes a lot of money, but he hates working. Like, he's like, I hate reaching into people's disgusting mouths. You know what I mean? And he's done all sort of dental work from like prisons to like his own office. You know, he's worked. Yeah, he's gone all over the place doing dental work. And he had a lot of stuff for it, you know, show for it. But he's not happy with his career, and so he always told me, he's like, 40. Sorry, I'm making weird faces. I'm trying to read without my glasses on because
our teleprompter keeps trying to show us different things. Yeah. Every 5 minutes, and it's so funny.
Yeah, I'll make this quick. So like, he always told me, do something you love. You know, it like, you would like, in life, you're gonna want to be happy. You know, and you know, money can buy a lot of things, but it's true, money can't buy you happiness. And so if you're fulfilled in life, and you don't have a Mercedes-Benz or a Range Rover, even though they got that really cool Starlight ceiling in that new car. I can't remember what it is, but I really want it, and I looked out how to make it in my car, and it's still too expensive. Even if you don't have that, you know, if you're happy, that's all that matters. But like, I was going to quit violin in 9th grade because I was tired of playing Appalachian Hymn and all this stuff, because I was a little ahead of my class, and I thought there was nothing else for violin for me. This is all it was going to be, and I was just going to memorize the music in 2 days and then just go sit through an orchestra, you know. And then I was going to quit, and I went to the pit orchestra. I was in 8th grade. I went to the pit orchestra, 8th going into 9th, and they needed another violinist, and none of the high schoolers wanted to do it, and so they called me a little middle schooler in it, because they didn't want to do it because they had to read 5 sharps, you know, key signature. And so, if you're a composer, don't make 3 sharps is plenty, you know. Yeah. Anyway, and it was a whole open new world of music that I've never heard before. Jazz, violin, what is that? Yeah. Like, I did Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, I did Nice Work If You Can Get It, you know. And so, and my band director told me my band and orchestra didn't get along. They were kind of like enemies. It was really weird. You know, it's been nowhere else that I've had that issue, but like, they did not get along. And so, my band director told me, you know, you are gonna like hit a lot of plateaus in your life in music, and he told me it was our job as musicians to find inspiration, to keep giving music to people. Yeah. And so I kind of do that a lot, you know. Yeah. I try my best to, like, if I'm feeling like down, like this morning, I don't want to practice. Like this afternoon, I didn't want to do an orchestra rehearsal. I'm tired. I didn't have coffee, you know. But you know, having that first like full rehearsal with the rest of the symphony orchestra, not just the strings, you know. Yeah. And hearing how much work they put into it, and you know, that itself inspires me to do better. So that's a piece of advice.
When you're around a bunch of like-minded people like we've got here at Slippery Rock, you know, whatever we're performing, it's going to be good. And we've got people that want to put in the work and put in the time and the effort for it. Yeah. So that was advice column. Honestly, for me, I think the best advice I'd have to say is whatever my mom comes up with at any different practice session. Like, I've had teacher advice, and honestly, it's funny because the teacher advice I get and the advice I get from my mom line up, even though my mom was a chorus person. Yeah. She wasn't like a strings person or like a band person. But it's just funny because, like, I never knew that music had a way of like really connecting itself like that until I realized, holy crap, my mom's like actually right about this. Like, I have to fix this because then I'll get better. Mm-hmm. So we'll hit one more question.
Yeah.
So
we have chamber strings soon.
Yeah, we do. Say you're walking in the streets, right? You're just walking around Slippery Rock, wherever you end up.
Yeah, in the middle of the night. Yeah. Walk around by yourself in the middle of the night. Yes. Do it. Great idea.
Yeah. A stranger walks up. Yeah. A stranger walks up to you, right? They're like, oh my gosh, you're Pierce Lokar. Yeah. Why do you play music? Like, what makes music so much fun? Why do you play? Is it because your mom made you play? Like, what is it about music that makes you want to play? And why continue up here at SRU?
Yeah, so it all circles back to babes. No, I'm just talking. No, So like for me, like, music is something that like really helped me through a rough home life. But there was like I wasn't in a stable environment for most of my childhood at all, and so like something that always got me out of the house, or that really like kind of took me away from my situation was like after school rehearsals, or like listening to the like this like a recording of some 4-year-old prodigy that was way better than me, working on the piece I was working on, and being like, oh man, if only I was, young Chloe Chua, and so like, sorry, what's the question? Yeah, so like the reason is like, I'm sorry, like I swear to God, I have.
Short memory?
I'm like a goldfish, dude. I just over here blowing bubbles until I forget what I was talking about. And yeah, so somebody came up to me on the street, asked, "What?
Why do you play music?
Why do I play music?" As I was saying before, Justin just interrupted me. I play music for like the little moments. There's tons of instances where like you think you're as prepared as can be, and you're ready for I'm rocking, probably messing up the audio. You think you're as ready as you can be, and you think you've seen it all, and then like all of a sudden like the groomsmen are coming back, and one shouts at you to play "Bad to the Bone" as you walk down the aisle, and then you have to improvise "Bad to the Bone," because they're paying you, to do that,
Yes.
and it's like those little moments. Like I had there was a Devil Went Down to Georgia on like the DJ set list, and I was
Really?
there, and it was like a wedding, and some lady who had a lot to drink came up to me and started airbowing violin for me to cover it, and then the DJ was like, "Oh, he'll do it, I guess."
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so now all of a sudden I'm playing in front of this like not sober woman, like.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's little moments that like make the career fresh,
Yeah.
Your music falls during a concert and you realize, oh, I guess I'm playing the rest of this song by memory. That happened the other rehearsal with me and my stand partner, where we just kind of looked at each other and we were like, all right, thank goodness we practiced.
Yes, I remember that. That was priceless. Because granted, I sit second violin, but he's like literally like 3 feet from me. I look over out of the corner of my eye. I just see all this music fall on the floor, and then I just see him and his stand partner looking at each other, and they're just like,
"Yeah, I guess that's what it is." And like, yeah, and so that's kind of what it is. It's little moments where like things are new, things are fresh, and you find yourself having fun playing. It's not That's why I think gigging is so much fun, because you're not so much worried. You're having fun with the people. You're having fun at the venue.
Yeah.
You can steal food because they probably won't notice. You know what I mean? And it's like it's all that, So that's why I play music.
But let's put this in context here. Stealing is not good, so don't.
No, not endorsed by the Slippery Rock Symphony Orchestra to steal. It's endorsed by me. Right? Steal.
Mr. President, no.
Oh no! Yeah, no stealing. Don't steal hors d'oeuvres from the next wedding you play.
But yeah, it's like music. There's always moments that are gonna just make your career memorable. And personally, for me, like, there's never really a lot of time in my music career where it's like I feel like music's work. It's always fun because I can just walk into wherever I'm playing and be surrounded with like-minded people, and we can just goof off and just have a good time, but still get work done.
Yeah.
So that is most of your interview. We'll have to have Pierce come back if we want to hear more about him. You guys can leave comments down below if there's anything specific that you guys want to hear more about in everything that Pierce talked about, and we'll format a new episode where he can come back and talk more about it.
Woo!
But for
Just
now,
in time for music.
hold on. No way.
What?
Are you getting this?
I am getting this. Oh my god.
This just in. So, we have a concert up here at Slippery Rock campus on November 14th at 7:30 p.m. at the Spoke Recital Hall. A journey through art and dance. You can get your tickets at sru.universitytickets.com. And if you guys want to stay in touch with the orchestra and see what we're up to, you can follow any of our social medias. Our Instagram is sru.orchestra, all lowercase. Our Facebook is SRU Symphony Orchestra.
I love how you're looking down because you can't remember.
In my defense, I only got the usernames like yesterday. So, and we have a TikTok account, which is SRU_Orchestra.
Yeah.
And it's co-run by our wonderful teleprompter Megan, who's behind the camera helping us out here.
Yeah, she's doing homework. She's doing. Oh, yeah.
Good job.
Her paper screen protector.
Oh, yeah. But hey, at least she's working on it so that we can keep this running.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you guys want to follow any of those social medias, we'll have links down in the description below this video, and we will have a link to the ticket website as well.
Yeah,
So-
come see. It's going to be a good show.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of fun music, and you'll get to meet some of the people that we have on here for interviews, like Pierce.
Yep. Say hi.
Yes.
I'll shake her hand and give you
Yeah.
like $1, you know?
Yeah. Feel free to just come up to us at the concert and just be like, hey, I really like that you talked about this, or next time you're on, talk about this.
Yeah.
Like, we'd love to hear your feedback because this is a new frontier for us, and we really want to keep this going. So, the news is done.
Mhm.
Now, normally, the last segment is going to be a jam session where whatever guest we have on, Pierce in this case, for example, would play a song.
Yeah. On the violin, probably.
Yes. To
Most
keep you
likely.
guys in suspense, we're going to wait and we'll do more jam sessions down the road.
Yeah.
For now, we're going to wrap up, head out of here. We got chamber music to do. We got chamber strings class in a couple minutes. So thanks for tuning in to this episode of Just in Time for Music. Hope you guys like the video and subscribe for any future videos
Subscribe.
that we
Do
put
it.
up. And remember, stay musical.
Music cool.